If you like stock, go be around and learn from people who are trading stock. Just learn so that you don't make mistakes when you're ready to go big. The next thing you're going to ask me is, what do you do at $1 million? It's the same thing. I'm just going to keep buying more real estate. Never basically save your way to success. You have to invest. One day you're going to look back and say, look, I don't need to work my job anymore. What's up, guys? My name is Brian Tran, your host. I got my main man over there, PJ Padua.
What's
as my
up,
co-host.
guys?
Hit it off, PJ. What are we talking about today?
So let's break it down, man. I mean, investing. I mean, I've always wondered what to invest. My 1,000, 10,000, and then when I get there, 100,000. So let's break it down for people. Brian, what do you think is the best way for someone coming into the space to invest their first $1,000?
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you guys some context. We're gonna create our little avatar because I got this question this week actually. A lot of times. A lot of W-2 workers, meaning you have a job.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, I don't know what's next. I don't know how to like roll my money into something else.
Yeah.
You know? And they want to get out of the rat race. They don't want to work until they're like old. And they want to make sure they retire with a good chunk of change.
Some dough.
Okay? So that's the avatar. And I'm not asking them to quit their job. So if I had $1,000 and I was working a job, I would probably look to, okay, check this out. The first thing you got to do is create up your bank accounts.
Yeah.
Because if you're a W-2 employee, I would say before you invest, you got to invest in your security. And security means your 6 months fund.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure, first off, you got that.
Okay.
Okay? Because I always tell people, you got to have that rainy day fund.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I agree with Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
You got to have your rainy day fund. The second thing is, I agree that if you have bad debt, you got to start paying that down.
Why do you think that?
Because if you have like credit card debt and those things are like, Jesus, 15, 20% a month.
Yeah.
If you only pay the minimum, you're going to be screwed. You're going to owe that money forever.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to make a return that high. Now, if you have long-term debt, like 3% student loan, I probably wouldn't pay that off. I'd probably pay the minimum because for you to go borrow money today, it's going to cost you more than 3%.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's a mindset you guys got to understand, that debt isn't bad.
Yeah.
But you got to understand what kind of debt.
Okay.
So $1,000. Now that all those things are kind of set, let's say you pay off all the debt, you have your 6 month reserve rainy day fund. Okay, now you got $1,000 of free money to run around with. You have to ask yourself, like, are you passionate about picking up a side hustle?
Okay.
Okay. If you are, I would invest into a course.
Yeah.
And learn.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's nothing wrong with courses.
Yeah, of course not.
You know, it's better than buying a bottle service over the weekend. That'll cost you $1,000.
Definitely.
But at least then you can figure out, like, hey, am I even passionate about picking up a side hustle, or do I just want to stay at my job?
Yeah.
But you want to have options. So the first 1,000 would be towards trying to learn a new skill.
Yeah.
And most of the W-2 people that I talk to, my friends, my peers, they all want to buy real estate.
Yeah.
I'd probably take that first 1,000 and attend a class, attend a course, attend more masterminds, even if I have to fly somewhere, and just start absorbing knowledge about real estate, because there's so much different types of real estate investing.
For sure.
You know, Airbnb arbitrage, you can do just simply buying rentals or investing into syndications. Okay. So just start immersing yourself into that community, learning and seeing if that's your preferred method of investing.
Yeah.
Because some people like stocks.
For sure.
And this podcast, this episode is not about arguing which one's better, what's the pros and cons. We can do that in another episode. But let's say if you like stocks, go be around and learn from people who are trading stocks.
Yeah, actually.
That's the first 1,000.
I like how you said that. I mean, whether or not you're passionate about starting a side hustle or leaning into real estate, or if you just want somebody who makes passive income through stocks, you didn't say, like, just dump that money into there. You said go learn about it first. And I think that's great advice. Great advice is whatever you're trying to get into, go learn first.
Yeah. Like, you know, people always ask me, like, oh, man, like, you buy properties so easily now. It wasn't always that way. Before I bought my first property, I was a real estate agent, which was a form of learning.
Yeah.
I got to see how my clients do it, right? And then you're like, okay, I can do it too.
And you probably spent a lot of money learning through the process.
Yeah, make mistakes and all that stuff. So that's why I said the first 1,000, try to learn which form of investing you want to do.
Love it.
Okay.
Easy. All right,
Next
let's get
amount.
to the next one, man. We got our avatar over here, and he's been investing, and he's learning about real estate and whatever he's doing. I mean, we'll have the other situations mapped out, but now we have $10,000. How should we invest that?
So the next stage up is you're learning to
Excuse me.
save money and you're putting it away. I would definitely start putting in today's market. I would start putting away that saving into treasury bonds because they're paying so well, 4.3, 4.4. I think up like some savings account and stuff like that are paying like upwards of 5%. Okay, I'd probably put that money there. I'd park it there,
Yeah.
or in the S&P 500, or in like ETFs like VTI, all those Vanguard ones, until I'm ready to deploy that money. Okay, what does that mean? Because if you put it in a savings account, this isn't your 6-month rainy day fund. This is now money that you are waiting to deploy and invest. But don't just let it sit in your savings account because it's not going to make jack diddly squat.
Yeah.
So put it into like the things I just mentioned, earn a little bit more. It's going to sound like pennies, but better than nothing. And then the $10,000, hopefully at this point, whether you have picked your like whatever side hustle that you've decided, or let's just say for the sake of the podcast, real estate, $10,000 isn't really enough to get into real estate. Unless you go like a first-time home buyer, like an FHA loan.
Yeah.
But even then, that's pretty hard in our area.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure I think a lot of our listeners might be in California. Like $10,000 is not enough to buy a house.
Is it enough to buy a house in like some other states?
Yeah, in Detroit, maybe if you're buying like a $70,000 house and you only have to put 3.5% down, so or let's just say 5 because there's closing costs. That's $3,500
For sure.
So you can buy a house out there. So if your market permits, if you're comfortable with doing out-of-state investing, but out-of-state investing doesn't work because, first-time home buyers, you have to occupy the property. Okay. So $10,000, I wouldn't. Again, not much you can do. I would still continue to just learn so that you don't make mistakes when you're ready to go big, which is the next stage. Okay. Let's go up to the next one because I think you were going to ask for 100,000. So, again, we'll bump it up to 100,000.
Hold on, I want to ask something real quick.
Yeah.
Everything you said about the $10,000 was very on the safe side and conservative side. Sorry, I'm dying right now, guys. But do you have anything a little bit more heavy, like a little bit more?
$10,000 is not a lot of money to invest. You're broke. Like,
Yeah.
just call it what it is. You can't make big moves with $10,000.
I like that.
What are you gonna do? Buy Bitcoin and gamble? Go to the casino? Like that's all you can do with $10,000.
Yeah.
There's not much. Like you can't make big money.
especially in California. There's nothing really crazy that you can't do. Obviously, from 1,000 to 10,000.
Yeah, great. And that's why I said, like at this point, you got 10,000. Put it into treasury bonds. Put it into like safer ETFs, stocks.
Yeah.
Like don't put it into like a single stock because that can be risky. It can go up and down. Like really drastically.
What about this? Like, I've heard you guys say this. Hanging out with you and Brandon, is $10,000 enough to like go up to, you or Brandon, be like, hey, like, let's go. I got some funds for a fix and flip. Like, you want to team up?
Very hard. I mean, at that point, you're just gonna bring the deal to us, and we're gonna cut you a check. Or I mean, like for certain team members on our team, we'll do it, but it's like very hard for you to get somebody to.
It's not a high enough investment, huh?
It's not like what are you gonna do? What am I gonna do with $10,000, PJ? Like that's like
I'm asking
kitchen
you,
supplies. No, that's what I'm saying. So I'm just gonna be real with you. Like
Yeah.
$10,000 is not enough to do much.
For sure. Man, that's really
$50,000 actually becomes a little bit more.
That's really eye opening though, because to a lot of people that might be a big jump. But hey, keep stacking from there, guys. Keep stacking from there. Be smart, like Brian said. Put it into something where you can get a safe return.
Yeah.
Don't start feeling like the boss. Big, you're not Bill Gates now just because you got $10,000.
You're going for small. You're just trying to get on base. Like I always tell people the analogy of like business and becoming successful in investing is that you're not trying to hit bombers and home runs.
Yeah.
You're just trying to get on base and not get striked out.
All right.
So with that $10,000, put it somewhere safe that's going to, continue to grow a little bit. 4% is like $400, but again, better than nothing.
Yeah.
Stack until you get it to about 50. When you
Yeah.
get to about 50, now it can get a little bit better depending on your skill level. You can start loaning out money to certain investors. Now
Well,
that's the
yeah.
more risky side.
Let's talk about that then.
Yeah.
Before we get to 100, let's talk about 50,000.
Yeah, so 50,000, find somebody you trust, reputable. If you want to get into investing, you can actually at 50,000, you might be able to buy some properties.
Okay, nice.
The other option is you can start loaning that money out. Like you can put it into my fund. Basically, like you become one of my lenders.
Yeah, for
And I pay anywhere from 8 to 10% interest annual. So
Okay.
$50,000. It's just 10. Like, yeah. Let me see what the math is on that. You'll earn like. Let me just do some math, guys. Give me a second. So $50,000 times 0.9%, 4,500 divided by 12. You earn about $375 a month off that 50 grand.
Not bad.
So that's something you guys can do. But again, that's more aggressive
Yeah.
because there are risks. If you give that money to the wrong flipper or the wrong lender,
Yeah.
and you're not actually securing like a lien on the property,
Yeah.
you can be out.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a risk. So that's the more risky side to try to get a higher return.
For sure.
At $50,000, depending on where you are, you could probably buy a property like a $200,000-$300,000 property.
Okay.
Okay. Start doing that. Start getting into it. This again, my advice to you will be very different if you're trying to start a business. This is the avatar that we're talking about here is somebody who has a good paying job and they're looking to just build their nest egg and not quit their job. Okay. So that's why I'm like, these are things you can do. So once you buy that property, you rent it out, you might cash flow $100, $200. You're going to save a little bit of money on your taxes as well.
Yeah.
You're going to write off certain things like maintenance, interest, property tax. So that's going to help you guys.
Yeah.
And the more you can save on taxes, the more you can invest.
Yeah.
So let's move up to 100,000.
Let me ask one quick question because
Sure.
I'm curious what you're going to say. What if the person is, I know we have a specific avatar, but what if the avatar is different and maybe they went the side hustle route and let's say they made $150,000 and now they're willing to invest $50,000. What other route other than real estate can they take from maybe a business perspective?
If they're already in business, let's say their side hustle is now making just as much or maybe even more than their current job, then, $50,000, you should probably be reinvesting it back into that side hustle.
Like how? Like, what do you mean?
Give me an industry. Give me a side hustle.
Let's say a photography business.
You probably want to upgrade your equipment at this point. You probably want to hire your first employee,
Yeah.
right? That $50,000. You may want to, if you're in a photography business, you guys need basically maybe a studio,
Yeah.
a place
Oh,
to
wow.
work.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, dude, something to upgrade your business, right?
Yeah.
Real estate agents,
Yeah.
right? If that was your side hustle and you're doing a couple deals, maybe at this point you want to hire an assistant,
Yeah.
or you want to hire
Maybe a lead specialist.
like bring more leads, Zillow, whatever. So that's like, okay,
I like
that $50,000 would be better utilized in your business than buying a $200,000 property. That's only going to make you $200,
I
right?
like it. Yeah.
Because if you invest back in your business and you get one more job, that job could be $3,000. That job can be $2,000, right? You just made your whole year cash flow.
Nice.
So that's why two different avatars, two
I
different
like it.
routes.
That was good. Very practical stuff. So, all right, let's go for the big one, man. You said it's like baseball. So I feel like this is third base going to go to home run.
Yeah.
A lot of things could happen with $100,000. So let me hear it, man. How should our avatars invest $100,000 when they have it ready to dispose?
So obviously at this point it gets easier, right? Because if you invested it back, let's go with the first avatar.
Yeah, let's do it.
Who still has his job.
Yeah.
he spent the first $50,000 buying the $200,000 property, and guess what? Now he's making an additional $200 a month, so he makes an additional $2,400. So now at $100,000, assuming you're the first guy, you already have a property at 50. Now you saved up for 100 faster because that first property is now working for you. It's creating cash flow. It's giving you depreciation, which is saving you on your taxes. And you guys got to understand, the best way to increase your income is to reduce your taxes because, I mean, that's your silent partner.
Yeah.
Right? Uncle Sam is. So you stack up to 100,000. I would continue to just buy properties.
Yeah.
Good properties, good deals. And so now you have two properties.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, the first property was only 200,000.
Yeah.
The second property, $100,000 is you can buy a property upwards of 400,000. So that's almost equivalent to almost 1.5 or almost 2 times your first property, right?
Yeah.
So now you're making 200 there, 300 there. You're making $500 a month. That's 6,000 a year, and you get all the depreciation. You get all the tax savings again. So depending on your income, you're saving even a few more thousand.
Yeah.
Okay. You keep doing it. This is why most real estate investors never have $1 million because once they get up to like 100, they buy a property and then that wipes out their fund. Goes up to another 100,000, wipes out their fund. Yeah. Right. And then next thing you know, it's a snowball effect. Real estate's a snowball effect. You won't become rich overnight buying rental properties. Yeah. It takes time. The property is going to go up in value. Rents are going to go up, right? And all of a sudden you look back 5-10 years from now, you got 4 or 5 properties. Yeah. And they're basically almost, you're about a third of the way paying them off, assuming you did a 30-year fix. Yeah. Rents have gone up. And if rates gone down, you could even refinance it, drop your monthly payment, pull out cash, and then buy more properties.
Can't you essentially also just, if you're content, just sell all your properties and just take all the equity out?
You could, but you'd have a pretty big tax bill to deal with.
Oh, okay. So well, that seems a little bit more complex.
That's why people don't typically sell their properties. They do a 1031 exchange, which is you trade it.
Interesting.
For something that is more expensive, typically.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's how I would do it, 100,000.
Yeah.
But you got to understand, along the way, when you buy rentals and buy real estate, it gets easier because, like I said, all those things. You're saving all your taxes, so you're putting more money in your pocket every month. And then you're making a little bit of the cash flow. And then the appreciation happens, and your property that was once, worth 200,000 is now worth 300,000. Yeah. And you can do a cash out refinance and maybe pull out an additional $50,000. And guess what? Remember when you were at 50,000? Yeah. Yeah, you go buy another property.
Technically, you're all set. You already know like what to do when you have 200, 300. Yeah, you just rinse and repeat.
So the next thing you're gonna ask me is, what do you do at $1 million? It's the same thing. I'm just gonna keep buying more real estate. Yeah. And as long as you buy them in good neighborhoods with good tenants, you're gonna be pretty much problem free. Yeah. You're gonna get better. You're gonna become a better landlord, a better real estate investor, and one day you're gonna look back and say, "Look, I don't even need to work my job anymore."
Yeah. That's great.
That's how you do it.
That's awesome, man.
But again, this takes time. This could be, I know some people who are able to do it using the BRRRR strategy or value add in a short amount of time, like 4 years. Yeah. But look, even if you don't and it takes you 10, you're 30 years old today. You'll be 40 years old in 10 years. You're still pretty young. And then during this time, your income has probably gone up because you probably got promotions, you got new jobs, and then your properties have gone up in value. Now you can chill. Yeah. But if you don't start with the first property or you don't start investing at all, like you're gonna be stuck in the rat race. You can never basically save your way to success. You have to invest. Yeah. So my strategy at basically 110. 50, 100,000 is just that you're working your way up to invest in real estate.
Yeah, for sure.
No, you could probably do it with stocks too, but dividends don't pay that much. Yeah. You got to have a lot of money in to earn like.
Yeah, it seems like it would take a little bit longer, just like the stretch of it. I mean, unless you're hitting like the holy grails, 100% return every single year is not.
Yeah. Really. I mean, even the best hedge funds and stuff like that. Pick the right ones. So
hey man, well I really like that. I feel like you gave a very practical blueprint for how to escape the rat race and live this successful life and chill. And it's crazy because from like $1,000 to $10,000 to $100, it's not really crazy. You're not saying anything too much different.
Yeah,
it's just these small steps, right? And just preparing you for that next bigger investment,
I got two uncles.
Yeah.
One uncle, super conservative,
Mm-hmm.
worked every day of his life, and he never bought any properties.
Yeah.
His retirement plan was to save up, and his Social Security.
Yeah.
I look at how he lives.
Mm-hmm.
Budget. Everything is budget because it's like he's got. I don't know his actual number, how much he has saved up, but I could probably figure it out, to be honest with you. Just how much he had, his mortgage and stuff like that. I can get a good guess. But it's like he lives a life that's, he kind of still has to worry about money.
Yeah.
I got another uncle
Mm-hmm.
that worked kind of similar jobs, but he bought hella properties.
Yeah.
He bought one, then one became two. And it's the exact same thing I just told you.
Yeah.
Today he passed away, but this is the cool part, right? At the time of his passing, that was like 11 years ago,
Uh-huh.
he had already amassed enough properties to leave his kids, and his kids are set. Today, the kids are set.
It's crazy.
They have like, I think like 10 or 15 units.
I mean, if he's been
paid off,
if he's been doing it for a while, I mean,
10 or 15
the real estate
units
market
paid
in California
off.
is crazy. Yeah, and
At like $2,000 to $3,000 a pop on rent.
that's crazy.
And the property tax is low because like he bought most of these properties way back when,
Shoo.
right?
Yeah.
And so it's bringing in 30 grand or something like that a month. His kids don't have to work.
That's not bad.
I mean, they're not. They're
not
living very
bad.
comfortable. Yeah,
I wouldn't
so
mind.
that's the difference, right?
Yeah.
And if had he probably lived, he probably would have had Social Security and a pension and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But one uncle didn't invest anything at all. One uncle did,
Mm-hmm.
and it's set up it's like I can see night and day. Granted, he passed away, but I can see how his kids are living.
For
now,
sure. And this whole conversation was very eye-opening and gets me excited to get my first property. So I'm gonna work up to 100,000. You guys do too, so we could do big deals and buy some homes and invest with Brian. You know what I'm saying?
That's it, man.
Let's do it, guys. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. Share it with some friends. Give us a like, follow, support us on YouTube because we're always coming hard with YouTube stuff too. So yeah, that's about it. I'll see you on the next one, guys.
Peace.
Peace.